Okie dokie. All right. Let me just share my screen as well. So now, okay. Let me know when everybody can see my screen.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Great. All right. Let me just put this in slideshow.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
Yep.
Okay. Can you see this? It's sharing in slideshow. Can folks see that?
Are we supposed to go anywhere once we've gone onto that website? Like, is there anywhere specific that we're supposed to go?
You're in the
go into the meeting, Eric.
I did.
Oh, you're not just on the website.
The global go-to meeting.join blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
It should have launched for you. Can everybody else see my screen?
No, I can't see it either. All I see is Unit 1, EC. There it goes.
Yeah, there, I got it now.
Okay.
To be clear, we're logging on to per the credentials you sent out to the site you sent out?
Yes, so Robin has included a GoToMeeting link in the meeting invite.
Yeah, so Dallas, we're looking at the GoToMeeting with her slide deck. We don't need to be logged in to our Sandbox client at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
You get there.
All right. Let me get started. Okay, well, welcome everybody to Unit 1 of our EC online training. And so what we'll be starting with today is the introduction to success factor basics. Okay. And what that will include, so the purpose of the course is really to provide you with a basic understanding of success factors Employee Central, so you can understand how to navigate within success factors. You can go ahead and edit your public profile. You can go ahead and personalize your homepage. And we're also going to walk you through on how to hire an employee. Okay, so the audience for today should really include all your key business decision makers. The prerequisite is that you should have attended the pre-kickoff meeting, which I think most of you have, and hopefully you'll have close to completing the Employee Central Project Team Orientation that we call PTO. And the time requirement today is approximately 1 hour. Okay. Now, so there's 4 units, and we are at Unit 1. We'll be doing Unit 2 next week, which is HR Admin Basics, and then Unit 3 will include Employee and Manager Processes, and Unit 4 will include the reporting. In terms of what the course component is made up of, so today it will include the online learning during the WebEx. Again, it is interactive. We want you guys to ask as many questions as possible. We'll be taking you through the basics of success factors. Now, there is going to also be within MindTickle, you're going to have a demo recording that includes how to do basic navigation. We're going to go through it today, but if at any other time you need to refer back to it, it will also be up in MindTickle, as well as hiring an employee. So every time you see this button, which is a demo icon, it means there's a demo that's in MindTickle. Okay. And then also everybody will have some homework. So there's going to be some homework for basic navigation and some homework around also hiring of the employees. And then you'll also be completing, in order to complete Unit 1, you'll need to make sure you take the questionnaire in MindTickle as well. And then this recording will also be loaded up into MindTickle. So for folks who cannot join today's session, this web recording will be put up on MindTickle as well. So Robin, you might want to we'll probably need to just send that note out to folks who could not join today's session.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so in terms of the agenda for today, Dina's going to walk us through a basic overview of success factors. So we're going to go through logging on and logging off. Everybody should receive their log-on information. So you should have received a link from Gaston, and as well as your username and password to be able to log on to this training instance. So if you have not received that, please email Gaston. or you could, if you don't have Gaston's email, then reach out to myself. Okay. Now, I just did want to let everybody know the SuccessFactors instance that you do have access to, it's not the PCC development or test or production instance. It is our Emeritus internal demo instance that has a lot of data, and it's already being configured with all the bells and whistles. It doesn't have the RDS content in it either. It really just is a sandbox kind of training playground to get you familiar with the navigation, the processes, and the look and feel of SuccessFactors. Okay. Dina will also be taking you through how to navigate in SuccessFactors, how to proxy as a user, how to edit your public profile, and also change your picture so you guys can have a little fun with that. Then I'll be walking everyone through on how to hire an employee in SuccessFactors, and then we'll talk about your homework assignment, and then we'll open it up to questions. Okay. All right, so we just talked about all the learning objectives as well. So we want to make sure we go through this unit and you completely understand all of those items that I just touched upon. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to give Dina presenter rights, and we're going to kick off now with the basic overview. So if folks can just hold on 1 second till we do that. And let me, all right, where is Dina in the list? Okay, I see you. Okay, Dina, you should have presenter rights right now.
Okay, let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, can everybody else see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so you all should have received the SuccessFactors URL link from Gaston. And once you click on that link, you would need to enter in your username and password. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in mine. And you just click login. And this will take you directly to the landing page or the home page when you first enter in SuccessFactors. Okay, so yeah, it's a very busy home page right now. And what you're looking at is a bunch of custom tiles. It is a very simplified homepage which can be personalized and configured to your liking. It provides access to all the activities and processes in the system that you have access to, and provides you an overview of the status of your own activities, which is really nice. So you can organize your homepage by simply dragging and dropping your tiles into place. So if you have OCD like me, you have to have I have to have it all perfect, and you could just, drag all of your favorites to the top, however you wish to customize your homepage, and it's very simple. And since my homepage is super busy right now, I want to actually remove some of these tiles, and you can do that by clicking the Add and Remove Tiles button. The link over to your right. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then you can see all of the tiles that you could add to your homepage. The ones that have a circle check indicates that that tile already exists on your homepage. So I would like to go ahead and remove some. So I'm going to select my goals, and I'm going to click Remove. It's so simple. And let's just say I want to add the jam tile. I will click on jam and then click Add to Home. And then once you're done organizing your tiles, you could click the X. Okay, and somewhere in here, jam, yep, there jam is. So I'm going to go ahead and move it up to the top. Okay, perfect. So, so now I'm going to kind of just walk you through a couple of the most used tiles. And the first one is your to-do list tile. So this really just shows you all the tasks that an employee needs to work on. For an example, like a performance review or updating goals. So if you're a manager, you could see, you know, whose performance management, whose PM form needs to be updated or approved, or any of the items that are due for one of your direct reports. So it's a very useful tile. And the next tile that I'd like to show you is the My Team tile. And it actually is not here. Okay, so I will show you the My Info tile. The My Info tile is where you can access your user-friendly self-services. So if you click on the gear next to your name, you can get a list of My Info links. Let's see. So everything can be accessed here. So you'll have access to your own public profile, your personal information. So this basically makes up your whole employee file. And if you're a manager, you also have access to all of your manager self-service links as well. So the reason why my team is not listed is because I'm logged in as Emily Clark, who is not a manager. She's a system administrator. So I'm going to go ahead and proxy in as a manager, and the manager who I'll proxy in is Marcus Hoff. So here, so this is the options menu. Options menu is you can click the little caret right next to your name, and you'll get a list of options, and you can proxy. You can also log out. But here I'm going to go ahead and show you how to proxy in as another manager. And this feature really allows an employee to authorize another employee to log into their SuccessFactors account on their behalf. So for an example, like if you have a manager who will be on, or who will be out of the office or on leave of absence when a form is due or an approval is required, then that acting manager can use this proxy feature to complete the form on their behalf. So I'm going to go ahead and proxy in as a manager. His name is Marcus Hoff. I'm going to click OK. And so his homepage will load. And here's that My Team tile that I was telling you about. This My Team tile provides access about your direct reports. So when you click on a picture, you can really focus on the person to see if they're on track. You can also access all of the management self-service links. You can give them a spot bonus. You can change their job and compensation information. You can also navigate to their employee file, see their public profile, any personal information, employment information, and so on. Also, you could give a person, you can type in a note, which is really nice. So you could just, maybe make yourself a reminder note about this person. Maybe there's something that you need to follow up on, which can be visible to yourself or to the employee. Also, you can make it visible to somebody else as well, which is a really nice feature. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about some of the menus that are very useful. So the first menu on your home page is the main navigation menu. So if you click on the drop down, Here you can access various tools and modules such as goals, performance management, your compensation module. You can also go to org charts. You can go to your employee file from the home navigation menu. You can also go to the reports module where you can access a lot of reports and create your ad hoc reports. And if you're an administrator, you can have access to your admin center, which you can get to it this way. And that's basically your IMG of the system. Okay, so that's your home navigation menu. Your actions and people search. This is where you can quickly locate information about a colleague, or if you're an HR administrator, you can type in an HR transaction depending on your access. So here I'm going to type in, let's just say I want some information about my manager, Carla Grant. Maybe I'm going to make a phone call. Maybe I'm going to give her a call and I just want to see what her telephone number is. So I can just go ahead and start typing in her name, Carla Grant. And then here you can see her business card appear. And you can see her title, you can see her phone number, you could email her, you could see who her manager is, how many direct reports, her team size, and you can also navigate to her org chart, which is super nice. And you can also take action on some of the manager self-service transactions that you would have access to. And if you're an HR administrator, you can also type in, you know, maybe hire an employee. So you can start typing in add, and you can click add a new employee, or you can add a goal for yourself. So there's different transactions that you could go ahead and execute from this menu. Okay, so I've talked to you about the home navigation, the options menu right next to your name on how to proxy as another user, also the people search menu. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to edit your public profile. So from your My Info tile, so this is your tile that's all about you. You're going to click the gear, and you're going to navigate to public profile. Okay, so here, here's your public profile. It's basically your who's who concept in SAP ESS. It really displays your communication information, such as your info type 105 data, your personal information about you, such as your business number, you know, your personal interests, your the position you hold, the department that you're in, the local time. So you know, it's basically a page all about you. And what's really nice is you could also add background pictures just to personalize it a bit more. So here, let's go ahead and just, I just want to show you how to change your picture. So you would click on Edit Profile, and you would select either the expressive or standard view. So I would select the expressive view because it gives you a little bit more customization options, such as the background themes. So I'm going to go ahead and select the expressive, and I'm going to upload a new photo by clicking Upload a Profile Photo. And I have a picture of one of my favorite players. And I'm going to click Save. and you can see that your picture is already changed in the background. And if you would like to update your background photo, you could either upload a background image, which I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do. And you can click Save, and then you can see your background image change. Or you can click on Photo Library, and you have access to like 60 plus background themes that you can choose from. And they're very beautiful pictures, and so you can go ahead and, you know, so you never get bored of the same picture. You can just change it up a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to, let's see, this skydiving picture, and then I'll click Save. And then once you're done, you can also update your introduction as well, and then you would click Close. There you have it. That's how you update your public profile and change your picture. Does anybody have any questions on how to do that? Okay. So yeah, my demonstration is complete, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Donna to complete the new hire.
Okay. Dina, did you want to talk about the homework for navigation? Did you want to cover that off?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. So for your homework, I'm asking everybody to personalize your homepage by adding the to-do list tile, the My Team tile, and the My Info tile. And I would also love for you to proxy in as another user, just to go ahead and test that feature out. And then I'd like for you to edit your public profile by adding a picture and a background theme. And all of this is to be completed by October 22nd, so don't miss the deadline.
And then as part of, thanks. And then
we have access to actually proxy in as another user.
it looks like, so Norma did just ping me as well. So I just am checking with Gaston to take a look at those permissions, but you should have access to be able to do that. So Gaston, if you can check on that, I'm not sure if you saw my message, but folks are having issues with that, with their user IDs.
Yeah, Donna, I'm checking it.
Okay,
by the way.
Thank you. Okay, and I just did want to mention to folks, so as part of next week's unit, we will recap the homework, and we will be asking for volunteers to show their public profile and their picture and their background theme on what they did. Okay. Any questions for Dina before we move on to the new hire?
Wait, I have a question. When she logged in as Marcus, is that because she's an admin that she was able to do that? Or is there a way for a manager to give another manager permission to do that?
Oh, okay. Wait, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, so when I logged in as manager, I was first the HR administrator, and then I proxied in as Marcus Hoff. So as long as you have access to proxy and you have the correct permissions, then you would be able to do that as well. So when you first log into SuccessFactors with your own username and password, you'll go directly to your homepage. And then from your homepage, you would go to the My Options menu and then proxy as whichever user you'd like to.
So am I correct in understanding that at some point we will identify what information can be modified when somebody's in as a proxy?
Correct.
Or what functions can be completed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, is Brandon on the call?
Brandon is on the call.
Yay! Can you answer that, please?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. anything you do as a proxy, you are doing on behalf of someone, but it will be clearly listed that you were the one that actually made the change while you're in that proxy mode. So, and then I believe that the question earlier might have been just as far as the system capability goes. Once, like if a manager goes in, not talking about what we need to do right now for our testing and training, but just talking about when we go live. When a manager is trying to wants to set up a proxy to another or wants to allow someone else to proxy in as them, yes, you can do that. You do that through your options. That options menu, you're able to go in and you're able to designate, I want Bill or I want Sue to go in and be a proxy for me. So you can self-designate who can proxy for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
Okay. So just to let folks know, there are slides on all of the steps that Dina just walked us through as well. So if you at any point want to revert back to, know how to proxy, how to change your tiles, it's all detailed in the slides that you will have access to on MindTickle as well. All right, let's move on then to hiring an employee. So what I'm going to go through is how to actually hire an employee in SuccessFactors, and there are some various options on how you can do that. So why don't we just actually go straight into the system. And can everybody see my screen? Let me just make sure of that.
Yes.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, so I'm at the home page. I'm logged in as the administrator, and I'm going to go ahead and hire a new employee. I'm assuming, with PCC, it sounds like you get a new hire packet in, and then as the admin, I can go ahead and do that. So as Dina had briefly shown, you can actually go in this search area, which is great, and you can do add new employee. Now, you don't have to remember transaction codes now, though it's probably ingrained in you already from SAP, from using that for such a long time. We can go this route. The other way that we can also do it is from your My Employee file. Let me just wait for this to load. It is a little slow. All right. And you can see the Add New Employee comes up. The other way is through My Employee file, and I go down my menu here in Company Info. And if I'm at the time I'm looking at my org chart, you see this button here on the right side, and if I toggle over it, it says Add New Employee. So there's a picture of a person and there's a little plus sign. So I can also use this button to add a new employee. Okay. Now also as an administrator, so there is another way, and that's through the Administrator Center. So if I click on down here, you'll see there's a little arrow, and if I go to the Admin Center, I can also, if you happen to be in the Admin Center as an admin, and you can also go Update Information and Add New Employee. Okay, so there are 3 ways, and remember that because it might be on the quiz. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and add a new employee. All right, so you'll see here there is a little process that it walks you through. So first we're going to, it goes through the identity information, then we'll be going through personal information, which is all about the employee, and then all about their job information and compensation information. You'll see that this is highlighted right now as in the blue color, and we're going to go ahead and hire them as of today. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the US. So this is all dummy data, part of the demo data. And of course, when we configure PCC, it will include your company information. Now, the event reason that we're going to choose is here. I'm going to select new hire. Again, thinking about the different event reasons that PCC can configure here. All right, who are we going to hire today? I've got to go ahead and hire Brad Pitt, I think, into the system. So let's go ahead and do that. And you can see here I can also, if they do have a second last name. Now, if you don't have any of requirement for these fields, we can hide these fields. So that's going to be part of the workshop in November. We'll be going through and really understanding, do you need suffix? Do you need the middle name there? Do you need the display name and birth name? So we'll be going through and understanding if these are required fields or whether optional fields. So at the moment, we just have the first name and last name, and these are mandatory fields where you see that there's a red star here on the left-hand side. Okay. Then also what I'm going to do is the person ID is like the PERNA number that you're used to in SAP. And for right now, I'm just going to enter the number in here, but this can be automatically generated as well. Okay. And then I'm also going to go up to birth information as well. And let me go ahead and select a year here. And there we go. And then also United States, I'll leave that. And then in terms of the country, I'm going to, for my national ID, we're going to say US. And here, it'll show up with social security number. So this is all your social security identifier information. Now you'll see here as well, this comes in the format. It proposes the format that the social security number needs to be in. So let me just enter something in here. Okay, and then I'm going to select this as yes, my primary.
So if we have Canadian employees, it will read the country and populate different formats down below?
Yeah, so we can certainly configure that. So if I put Canada in here, let's see what's in here. So they have what's called social insurance number, and it looks like right now, is that their format? They have 3.
Yep.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
that looks
Great.
like, okay. All right, so let me just get rid of that. Okay, and then we're done on this area, which is identity, all about the identification of the new employee. I'm going to hit next. Brandon, feel free if I've missed anything to chime in. Okay.
I will. You're doing fine.
Okay, then we've got personal information. So you'll see here it's turned into this aqua color. This is highlighted now. So let's see, what do we want to fill here in about personal information? So you can see there's a lot of fields here for personal information. As I said in the workshop, we'll be going through if these are required or optional or not. But for now, just in the sake of time, I'm just going to enter in gender and also marital status. And Brad Pitt is unfortunately married. Okay. So, and then what else do we, and you can see here below it has a little flag for United States. So this is all the country-specific compliance information that can be collected, okay? So let's go ahead and just for the purposes here, I'm going to select an ethnic group. I'll say that in terms of veteran, no. And then what else should I select here? I can select as well that they are type of challenge, that they're not challenged. So let's go ahead and just say no at this point. Okay. All right.
So I've got a question. This is
yes,
for a
sure.
new hire, right? So,
yes, we're going through the new hire process.
Yeah, so who do you anticipate filling this information out? Is this the actual new hire person, or is this the like manager of the new hire?
No, so this is actually the employee that this is the information of the new hire. So you're getting you've got a new hire packet, and a HR admin is entering that new hire information into the system.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, also up here we have contact information, so we can put their email information. So let's just go ahead and put something here. If we want to log that information. And we'll just say, yes, that's their primary. We can also here put their phone information. So let me just go ahead and put something really quickly.
So I see that email is a required field. So that means that we're not going to be able, we will have to have the employee set up in, Terry, help me out with the, not SAP, and
Active Directory.
Active Directory.
Thank you. We have to have that set up before anyone goes filling this out.
Now, if you don't want it mandatory, we can remove that as option. Right. So this is just this is just what the demo system's been set up with.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we'll figure out in the November workshop of what you want mandatory and what you want optional.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. And then, so there's the phone information. You also have social accounts. So there is a good selection. So if you are using, instant messages and you want to know what the URL and ID code or Skype, if you have that information, if you're not using it, we can totally hide that. Okay, then we have address information. So this was equivalent to your info type 6 in SAP. So for now, I'll just enter something here. And I will choose something in the Bay Area at the moment, and California. Okay, and then down here as well, you have all your emergency contact, and this is where your dependent information is. So let's go ahead and choose something here in terms of emergency contact. And let me put in a number. And I'm going to say, yep, they're a dependent, and they're my emergency contact, and they're my primary. Okay, and then I'm not going to go ahead and fill out the dependents, but you can see here that you can put in first name, last name, and also what type of relationship they are. So this is very equivalent to your info type 21 information, and then you've got your date of birth. Okay, all right. Anything else on this page that you have a question on? Yes, go ahead.
Donna, you had that on the previous screen, you had dependent required fields. So you can exit out of the screen without filling the required fields?
Yes, you can. Yes, so it's a required field for this portlet.
Oh, so if you start filling it, you've got to go on.
Yeah, so I know that looks a little confusing, but the way that some of those portlets work is, so take for example, like national ID. It's the portlet itself can be, you actually can permission so that you have to fill out an entire record in order to move forward. But in addition to that, for any individual record on some of those portlets, the ones that have where you can put in multiple records, you have, in order for that record itself, so for example, Social Security number, in order for it to be considered complete, you have to include, say, the Social Security number. So and I know it looks a little confusing because you've got the little star, and in certain circumstances you're able to move forward where you see a screen, and the screen has a red star on it, and I didn't fill in that field, and I was able to move forward. Well, and the reason for that is just because for those portlets where you can have multiple records, it's really just saying that that field has to be filled in if I start a new record. Hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you. Got it.
Okay. Thanks, Brandon, for chiming in. Okay, any more questions on personal information area? Okay, but this certainly gives you a good, understanding of what is in personal information, all the portlets included here. And then if any of you have had a chance to, I'm not sure, Robin, if you've sent out the workbooks yet, but the workbooks exactly marry up to these portlets here, and that's what we'll be going through as part of the November workshop, to really work with you and say, okay, do we need preferred name? Is that going to be an optional? Is it going to be a mandatory field, or do you want to hide it, or do you want to call it something else? Do you want to call it nickname? Would you like to label it something else? Okay.
So you guys will get that information. You guys will get that information with links to all the workbooks a little bit later here today.
Okay.
Donna, this is Kim. I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Challenge status is certainly not something that terminology we've used. Is that whether or not somebody's disabled?
That's correct. Yes. So we can certainly change the labels if it's something PCC is not used to, and you want to make it more PCC specific. Then that can easily be changed.
Donna, one more question on the same thing. So you said we can add remove fields, right? Is there just a selection pop-up that appears that we can choose more fields and just add it to the screen, or it's purely an admin function?
What do you mean by adding more things to the screen? Sorry.
So on the left-hand side, you got reference number, issuing date, or whatever that is, right? I want to add a issuing contact name. is there a thing which comes up and say, here's the list of fields that are available to add on this page, and you can choose it from there?
Oh, you mean like a pick list?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. So for example, so let me just drop on this, like, say for country. So you can, so this is what we call a pick list, like a match, like in SAP, it's a match code value. So they're defined values that you can select from. So yes, we're going to, you also as part of the workshop will be defining the pick list as well. That if you want the field to be a pick list value.
But to be, I think what he's asking is, can the user on the fly add new fields to the screen?
Right.
The answer is
no.
The answer is no.
No.
That is driven by the administrative functions that you would do ahead of time. It's similar in nature to what you do in SAP, where we're going to where you define via configuration all those fields ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Same here, and the same thing with the drop downs.
Yeah.
You define all of that stuff ahead of time.
Got it. Thank you, Brennan and Donna.
Okay. Any other questions on personal information? All right, let's move forward to job information. So I'm going to hit next. And all right, great. So now this is all the information related to the employee as it relates to their job. So the first portlet here is around target position. Okay, so here you can actually, if you don't, position is a long list. So if you don't know the exact position number, but you know who is occupying the parent position, you can go down here and have a look. So I know, for example, that I have, oh, maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Let me find my person that I'm trying to look for it's not all the way down in Eli's director. Let me go find her. All right. Eliza. Okay, I spelt it wrong. Eliza, executive. Okay, I know that she's the parent position, and then it narrows down my selection of positions here. So you can see here there's a number of positions here, and you can see that it says to be hired, and it equals true. So you'll see here a number of the same positions, but they're got A, B, C, D, E, F in front of them. So as part of your homework, if you're assigned to A, which I think from the top of my memory, Josh is assigned to the letter A. So this is the position that you'll be allowed to hire into. So if you're assigned to B, and we're going to go through the homework and what your assignments are, then you can only select the B positions. Okay? Now, if you're looking for all your positions and within the A, so I'm going to take that away. And for your homework, if you want to look at, so you can see at the top of the list, all of the A positions are here, because as part of your homework, you're going to hire 10 positions. You're going to use 10 of these positions that are here. Okay, so there's 10 of them there. So if we go down to B, you'll see actually here C. So here's all the C positions. Okay.
So I'm a little confused. When you say A and B and C positions, what do those refer to?
Oh, they're just referring to dummy positions that we've hired into the system, so you can actually hire an employee into those positions. So when we get to the homework, it'll probably explain it a little better, but because we didn't want everybody hiring into the same position, we had to assign you all different position names.
Okay, so
and
the
numbers.
A and the B and the C really doesn't mean anything, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just for your homework assignment.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
All right.
So Donna, that means that you actually have to create a position in order to hire somebody into it.
Yes, that's correct. If you want to be able to go through the job information steps. So, for example, let me just select a position here. I'm going to steal one of your positions, Josh, as assistant compensation. So once I select this position, then you can see here that everything defaults. So you'll have all the company information. This is all your hierarchical information, your business unit, where this position belongs to in terms of the division.
And when we get into more of the live situation,
mm-hmm.
each individual will only be able to see the positions within their organization, correct?
That's if, yeah, so that's when we get into the, you know, security piece. So,
okay, but we can limit it down so we're not looking through miles of data.
Well, that's the intent is that that top thing that Donna was showing, where you can say, okay, give me all of the people, give me all the positions that are underneath this given manager. That's really kind of the intent for what that is. That's to give you the chance to limit that list down to just the positions that you need to look through. And
right.
And in addition to this, beyond that, there is going to be an org chart view that we're going to get, you know, more familiar with in a different stage in this training, where you're going to be able to go out and you're going to be able to actually have some visibility to those positions, so that you will be able to say, okay, well, this is the position that I need to hire someone into. So you could look that up ahead of time, even before you get to the screen. So it's a little bit, so
okay,
there are a couple of different ways to do it.
But I'm hearing that it's not going to be limited, so I could accidentally hire somebody into Baselite.
That's correct. That's correct in that I don't believe it doesn't have SuccessFactors does not have the same kind of structural authorization that you have within SAP as of right now, to where you just say absolutely you cannot view or do anything for based on the position. And let me take that as an action item just to make sure. I don't want to. I'm going to tell you that right now because I'd rather be you know, overly, you know, give you bad news, quote unquote, and then come back to you with good news rather than vice versa. So let me go off and just confirm that is indeed the case.
When you say you can hire somebody into Baselite, to be clear, because of the authorizations, you won't be able to hire somebody into Baselite, but you may be able to hire somebody under a Baselite job description. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that you would be able to select a position that that I'm pretty sure. I think you could. The way that the positions would work, you would be able to do that as part of the hiring process. Now, it's just a hiring process. Once you get past the hiring process, then there are things that we can do to kind of restrict the way that the system works. But the hiring process, you really are expecting those HR administrators that are doing it to really have a good sense of what positions they should be using. So it sounds like that's something that is causing some heartburn on the other.
That's our first scary concept, yes.
Yeah,
well,
I agree with that.
This is Josh, and I mean, let's kind of discuss that from a centralized, decentralized role perspective, kind of the same situation we have now with the org structure. So I think as we get into it, we could visit that some more and how that will mechanically work.
So the great thing about something like that coming up right now is it gives all of us a chance to kind of look at it and kind of be thinking about it. So we'll take that as an action item on our side and to see what's possible from a position management standpoint as far as limiting down from that. Because there are probably different ways we can do that, thinking off the top of my head, but let's just take that as a problem to solve.
Can you make the incumbent of parent position mandatory?
No, because that's only really like a value help kind of thing. It's just the position that's truly required. The only thing that the incumbent thing is for is just so that you can get to a narrowed down list of positions.
That's kind of where I'm going, is if you're forced to put in an incumbent, it's going to narrow you to selections that are only valid for your organization.
Or if not incumbent, maybe like a location or something like that's required that would then act as a limiter or something.
Yeah. Right. It looks like company is required.
Yeah, company is absolutely required. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I've got a couple of ideas off the top of my head, and I appreciate the concern that we have here on this issue, and it sounds like that we just, from a business process standpoint, we're just concerned that if we allow the administrators that are doing the hire to have access to the universe of positions. There could be some adverse consequences there. So, you know, I think that there are things that we could probably do from the standpoint of once we put the position in, if we put in the wrong one, we could probably throw up an error or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I think we could do that. So let me just take that as an action item.
Thanks, Brendan.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We have 10 minutes left, and I'd like to make sure we get through the hire process, but it's a good discussion and they're really good feedback for us to think about for things for the upcoming workshop. So let me move on. In terms of the job information, you'll see here as well, when we selected the position, the company was automatically defaulted. All of these fields automatically, we can default these fields based on the position that we hide in. So we've got the business unit, we've got the division, we've got department within the division, we've got location, we've got the time zone, and then as well as the cost center. Okay. Then also what defaulted was the supervisor. So at this point, it defaulted as Eliza Executive as the supervisor because I had selected her as the parent position. And then it also has your job classification information here. So job classification, there are a number of things that link to job classification, like your pay grades and also your EEO groups. And then we have here job title. Now we could change it here at the moment, but I'll just leave it as is. And then we also have...
Donna, real quick, can the job title be a pick list?
We can, yes.
No.
Can we do that, Brandon?
Well, actually, the way that it probably would work is the job title will default in from the position, and that will end up being read only. So that's going to be similar to the job title within SAP. Your local job title is what can be editable.
Okay.
Okay, and then we also have the pay grade associated. Okay, that's, as I'd mentioned, that's associated to your job classification. And then also there is a number of other information here, whether it's a regular or temp. So here for now, for the purposes, I can just put regular, you know, what kind of weekly hours, working days. So I'm just going to leave that for now for the purposes. But you can see here, there are a number of fields here that you can decide upon of what could be filled out. Okay. All right, and then we also have here all the pay scale type, area, group, level information. There's also in here contract information as well. And then we have the time information. So this is related to your time off. So in order to be able to manage time off as an employee, they would need a holiday calendar assigned to them. They would need a standard kind of work schedule and also what we call a time profile as well. And then we have all the EEO information that default in as well based on the job classification. All right. Now down here we have job relationships. So this actually defines, so for example, who their HR manager is. So I can go in here and, or if there's an additional manager or matrix manager, and we can actually look up that person and assign that person. Okay, but for now I'm just going to leave that one. And then we have also work permit info. So here you can actually, if I'm looking for the, say, the US, so this would be in the situation for your I-9s to make sure they have the proper documentation here. Okay, all right, so let me just quickly put something in here for now. And then we also have employment information. So these is all your start dates, hire dates, any kind of seniority dates, and if we need information around stock grants as well. All right, I'm going to move ahead and hit next. And the last one in the step is the compensation information. So here we can go ahead and select their pay type, whether they're hourly or salary. So for this, I'm just going to select salaried, and their pay group is North America pay group. So this is kind of equivalent to like your payroll area in SAP. And then you'll notice here as well, there's comp ratio and range penetration information, but it's blank at the moment because I haven't entered anything in. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and select a pay component. So this would be, for example, my base salary. And you can see here there are some things like allowances and that to select from if that's part of their pay. So let's go ahead and give this person some salary, and I'm going to make this a annual salary. So you can actually say what the frequency is. And then you'll see once I enter that in, the comp ratio should be entered in, should populate as well. So it looks like I'm probably underpaying this person based on the comp ratio at the moment. Then as well, you'll notice here that there's total earning opportunity. So right now we have 100,000 as their total earning opportunity. Now, if I put in here, we've got pay targets. So what this is if we give them, say, a performance or a bonus, and I'm going to say give them if they do well in their job, I'm going to give them 5,000, and I'm going to give that to them annually. You'll notice then that the total earning opportunity also changes and updates to 105 because it adds these two together. Okay, so that's your total potential in terms of the money that they would earn. All right. Then down here you can also give spot bonuses as well, but I'm just going to leave that for now in the sake of the time. And I think we're ready to go. Is there anything else, Brendan, that we should point out here before I hit the save button?
No, I think that's probably
okay.
Plenty.
All right.
Considering we've got 2 minutes. So.
Yes. Okay. So let me go ahead and hit the save button. And let's hopefully, okay, here we go. It says now that the profile has been added and Brad Pitt's hire date is of today's date. Now at this point, I can go ahead and add a new hire, another one, or I can go and view Brad Pitt's profile. So let's go ahead and just have a quick view at his profile. And he's come up with a lovely picture with the iceberg penguin. So now you can see he's been hired into vice president. He's in San Mateo. His local time is, it looks like is that Eastern time zone he's on? And then his email. And then I can also scroll down. If I wanted to go back into his personal information or his employment information, I could do that. So for example, if I go back into his employment information, you'll be able to see all the information that we had entered in around his job information, his employment details, and compensation. So here, actually, the compensation that we just entered in, you'll see it actually brings up a nice little graph here. So it shows a summary of the pay grade, the annualized salary, and where the salary, it looks like we've got minus 17, so it's actually not even coming up on the chart at the moment on the range here. Okay. All right, so what I wanted to do was just cover the homework really quickly and then open it up to some questions. All right, so your homework assignment is that everybody will be assigned to hire 10 employees into their assigned org structure. So here you'll see everybody's name and what positions you can hire into. So Josh, if you're assigned to A, so you can hire into all the A positions. Alicia, you've got all the B positions and so forth. So everybody should have their own set of positions that they can hire into. Okay, and Mangi and Ken and Robin, we've got you in there as well if you'd like to have a go. Okay. So in terms of wrap up, you have your homework assignment for navigation. That's exercise 1.1 that Dina went through. We'll also have the hire employee, which is exercise 1.2. Remember to review the demo videos in MindTickle. So there'll be videos on navigation and hire employee if you'd want to go back to it, or you can also just replay this web recording. Then don't forget to also take the MindTickle questionnaire and also complete all your homework by the 22nd of October. Now, if you are having issues with your homework, please feel free to reach out to us. Okay, so for next week, we do have a scheduled course on the HR Admin Basics, and that will be Unit 2, and that is scheduled for next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. All right, any questions? I know we went a little bit over by 1 minute, so I just do want to check if folks have any questions so far.
Donna, I had a couple questions that
Sure.
that I put into the chat, basically.
Oh, let me have a look. Sorry, I hadn't seen that because I'm sharing my screen. Go ahead, Carla, though.
So basically, I just wondered if in the, I guess it's my links, can we add other links in there? Like back to SAP transactions and portal pages, that kind of thing?
The answer, you should be able to do that, yes, as far as like adding in links for sure. And I'm assuming that we're probably going to end up with a single sign-on, so we should be able to do linking back and forth between your SAP portal and SuccessFactors. That'll be a
for the portal, but what about directly into SAP transactions?
Into SAP transactions, like you mean like
we're still going to do
the GUI?
We're going to do benefits and time and payroll and all that directly in SAP. We'll be able to access those transactions there?
Okay. Are you asking about like the web-based transactions? Like, give me an example of what you're talking about. I just want to make sure.
No. So Brandon, what Carla is referring to directly get onto SAP and access, for example, PA20. Can I have that?
Yes, you would be able to do a link onto the, you're talking about the web GUI based version where it would launch into to a browser that has PA20, or are you talking about launching the GUI?
Launching
the
the
actual GUI.
And that's not really a SuccessFactors thing. That's more of just a, do you have web pages that launch, that cause your GUI to launch today? Because I'm not.
No, I'm just wondering if we can embed a link there to go back into SAP for things that still need to be done there.
Normally, the way you would do that is you can do it, but you would launch a browser with PA20, assuming that you still have the Internet Transaction Server, the ITS. So
okay, and then I had
that.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. So I had one other question, and that was regarding the preferred name. Does that display on the screen and in reports as opposed to the legal name?
That's a good question. And it's funny. I got asked that question about an hour and a half ago, and I can't remember off the top of my head. There's this new name formatting process that came in the last quarter, and so I'm just going to have to get back to you. I'll have an answer for that for you for next week.
Okay, great.
It should be an easy question to answer, but it's not for some reason. You would think that just preferred name would show up different places, but it doesn't. So I'll give you a better answer next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Carla. Very good questions. Anything else from anybody before we wrap up? Okay, well, thank you everybody for participating in Unit 1, and please let us know if you are having trouble with logging on, or if you're having issues with your security. Please reach out to Gaston if you're having issues with proxy or adding new employee, or if you have any questions around the homework, just reach out to us. Okay, well, everybody have a great weekend, and thank you for participating, and we will reconvene next Friday.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for your
time. Bye, Donna.